longevity, not only in your health, but in the company, depends on your workforce being at its very best. How can we get the best out of our people? How can we stop the churn of losing good people because they're burnt out? And if you don't have leadership in your company who's looking at that, you are going to have a burnt out workforce. It is actually one of our key markers that we have in our KPIs, a workload of only being 95%. And as soon as anyone reaches that 95%, we flag it and it'll be like, we are not going to that 120% hair on fire Mach 5 way of working.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Evolve to Succeed podcast. And we have a returning guest on this week's podcast, Barbara Cox. Barbara appeared in the 4th episode of the podcast. We're now on episode 266, so there's a few guests that have come and gone since. But I wanted to have Barbara back because she has recently written a book, Land of the Rising Lifespan, about Japanese culture and its impact on health and well-being. Barbara is a health and well-being expert. She's run her own businesses in that field. She's currently working for a large corporate employing over 400 people, helping them with their corporate wellness and well-being programs. So, without any further ado, let's get on with the show. Welcome back, Barbara, to the Evolve to Succeed podcast.
Thank you. It's been a few years, hasn't it? Lots of change.
Yeah, it's January 2020. You were guest number 4 on the podcast.
Oh my goodness. And how many guests have you had since me?
This is episode 266, I think. So
it's about time I came back.
Yeah, definitely time you came back.
Yeah.
Definitely want to see and hear an update from you on what's happening in your world. But really, the whole conversation is going to be around happiness, wellness, health.
Yes.
Which is your topic.
It is. It is something that I'm super passionate about in the business world, you know, as a ex-business owner and now working for another company. Yeah. You know, we have to be passionate and love what we do. It gets us out of bed every single day.
Definitely.
So yeah, it's the basis of everything.
Yeah. So just over 6 years, a lot has happened in the world in those 6 years. And a lot is still happening in the world in those 6 years. But what's happened in the health and well-being space in those last 6 years?
It's been incredible, actually. And I guess if I were to thank the COVID years, it was actually a wake-up moment for a lot of businesses and a lot of people to put their health and wellness, both physically and emotionally, at the forefront of everything that they do now. A lot more policies came into human resources for businesses. And I don't think it's thought of corporate wellness as much as that kind of woo-woo that it used to be. And I think people are really seeing the correlation between productivity and duvet days because we're taking care of ourselves in a better way. And I think people are happier at work. Yeah. You know, we have maybe a little bit more flexibility because of the working at home. And I think that has really inspired people to take better care of themselves.
But you really think we've got momentum behind that? Because clearly, you know, shortly after our recording, you've alluded to it, we had COVID and people really started, they had time, so they looked after themselves a bit better. But now, you know, sort of 6 years on, do you think, you know, as a nation, as individuals, as humans, we're creeping into back some of those bad habits?
Yes. And I think any economic change brings that workload associated with it. We're trying to make more profit, hence we only have so many hours in a day. I mean, what's really fantastic is, you know, taking a look at a team of 70 people that I take care of now. I would say in 2025, we were all working at 120% capacity. Yeah. And so, of course, that can lead to the burnout. And if you don't have leadership in your company who's looking at that, who makes it a value of the company, then you are going to have a churn of burnt out workforce. But, you know, there is some sort of self-responsibility that comes with that, right? That it's okay to, you know, put the brakes on a little bit to take more care of yourself or speak to people. And we have a very open policy around that as well, and listening to everyone, but implementing. And it is actually one of our key markers that we have in our KPIs of a workload of only being 95%.
Okay.
Yeah. And as soon as anyone, reaches that 95%, we either notice it, we flag it, and it'll be like, we are not going to that 120%, hair on fire, Mach 5 kind of way of working, because longevity, not only in your health, but in the company, depends on your workforce being at its very best.
But it's an interesting question is it's the accountant in me, how are you measuring that somebody's working at 80, 90, 95% or 120%?
Well, we do a lot of surveys, actually.
Okay.
So, I mean, we are, once a quarter, we do a staff survey. So we are actually looking at this consistently all the time. I mean, we're a global company. We have staff and offices in 50 different countries. We just opened India today. So we have, 10 staff that are sitting there in Delhi. So, of course, we have a real pulse on what's happening with our employees. I think it's those companies that don't have the pulse, they cannot measure it. So it is very self-regulated. And we have a great communication style. And just sort of off the cuff thinking, I cannot place one team member that has actually had time off through burnout in the last 4 years.
Brilliant. Fantastic. And you've alluded it to yourself 6 years ago, this term corporate well-being.
So woo-woo, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was
Corporate
woo-woo.
well-being, what
What
is
does
that?
it mean today? And I think you've sort of alluded to some of those things in your last responses, but what does good corporate well-being look like today?
Well, I think it's different for every organization, so I can really just say what it is for us. We have 450 staff globally, so I mean, it's probably slightly different, colloquial. So we have the full Europeans, we have the USA, Mexico, India now, as I said, so everyone is slightly different. I think what corporate wellness used to be was make sure everyone's drinking enough water, make sure, staying hydrated. Yes, in this heat wave, stay hydrated, obviously, but I think now it's really listening to your employees and making sure that their passion and that they're, really on the right bus, doing the right job and feeling passionate about their work every day, and that it's really integrated in that. We have very strong core values at our company, and making sure that they are living by the core values. And some of those are, taking care of yourself, working with excellence, being passionate every single day, having a great communication style. And so actually that taking care of their well-being in their job, making sure that there's a career path for them at whatever age they come in, that takes care of a whole person.
Okay.
So
you would say in the last 6 years, it's become more holistic.
Yes.
And less just about health.
Yeah, definitely. Less, yes, some people do need a little helping hand with their health. Of course, everyone. But
it's got to be a cornerstone of it, but it's not the only thing.
It's not
when we talk about corporate wellness, corporate well-being these days.
We're talking about, emotional health, mental health, and those are different things. Our needs are very, very different. Then, of course, you have your physical health that's on top of that, and making sure it's adapted per person. Everyone is different. If you take a look at our 450 staff, there's not one person physically or emotionally that is the same. So how can you have one single corporate wellness strategy that tries to, help everybody? It's just not going to happen. So it's working with your top leadership to recognize with the teams on its own what your people are doing to get the best out of them and support them in a way that they need support.
Okay. I've got to ask the question. Obviously, you 450 staff across many countries. That kind of cultural difference from country to country, how do you see that impacting? Is there still some countries that aren't taking it as seriously, and others that perhaps take it to an extreme? I mean, what do you see across the board?
It's really interesting. So yes, we do definitely see that. And without kind of, pointing the finger at some of our cultures, so I'm not gonna name markets, okay? But definitely some are healthier than others, and I believe that is just due to the culture that they live in.
Yeah.
So I'll say it: Asia Pacific. Yeah. Our Asia Pacific market is incredible. Okay. We implement a lot of the themes that are obviously in the book, but they live it, and so their work ethic is phenomenal, and they probably work longer hours than anybody, but they're probably the most physically and emotionally robust out of every market, any market that we have. And fascinating is that, and I'll say another market, our Australia market, again, they're really into their health and wellness. They're really into their boundaries, because obviously we have team meetings and we have global meetings, and sometimes they're at 2 a.m., which is not good if you're in Europe,
great for corporate
right?
reference,
Not great, but once a month we just have to get on these global meetings for the top management, and do it. But then, we are really good at taking and following the following morning off, making sure that we've recovered properly and not burning the candle at both ends. But we support that culture.
Perfect. And taking some of those lessons you're learning and have learned over the last few years, and you're applying it to an owner-managed business with, say, 15, 20 people, what does good look like in that scenario for you?
I think it just has to start with the top C-level management. It's just a bit like a parent, right? Children learn what they live. Okay, so it's the same. It's exactly the same. I'm really lucky. When I owned my own business, NutriChef, we were a healthy meal delivery company. So of course we oozed health and wellness, and that is what the whole platform was for all of our staff. And that was in 2004. So we've always been ahead of the curve. But our C-level at the moment, who I report, I'm vice president, so I report direct into C-level, they take amazing care of themselves. And so again, in our culture, they cascade it down. So if you have a smaller management team, then talk about it in your board meetings. Make sure that it's on your core values of what the company actually stands for: being passionate, taking care of your people, taking care of your customers, on every single holistic level that there actually is. And at the end of the day, it's about longevity. If you want to have an exit strategy, well, I have actually known some people who haven't made the exit strategy, because they have not taken care of their health. Then again, when I take a look at some company owners who have, the exit strategy and the dream is to have this amazing life afterwards. And that is why you need to take care.
You can only do that with health, can't you?
100%, Maureen. Yep, you got it.
Definitely. And what competitive advantages would you say an owner-managed business, again, would have if they really adopted and looked after themselves and they looked after their team in the right way?
Oh, well, hugely. I mean, for us, it really comes down to bottom line. We are, we turn over 350 million a year. We are looking to build that to 500 in the next 2 years. So for us, we're constantly looking at margins, and there's only so much cost of goods that we can look at. Our COGS, we're being pressed by our suppliers as well. There's only so much of an increase that we can put on our product, to pass on to our customers. So what do we look at? We look internally. How can we get the best out of our people? How can we stop the churn of, losing good people because they're burnt out? So really, we take a good look at that. But we've also implemented something quite interesting in our prototypes of products, because we have quite a large product range, different products in different markets as well. But we've implemented something about prototypes. And this is really taking the pressure off because I'm in research and development, right? So vice president of R&D. And so with our team, what we're looking at is imperfection, okay? So when you have this perfectionism, it actually slows things down because people will not present their new ideas, because they're not perfect yet. They will not present ideas that they're scared to be sort of shot down. So we have this, well, the Japanese word for it is wabi-sabi, which is fascinating, and it's embracing imperfection. So last year we implemented this. We'd only produce 3 prototypes a year, and we've switched that now to 10. And that's because people have removed the perfectionism of a prototype. Yes, it's perfect when it goes to market, don't get me wrong, okay? But the prototypes aren't. So we have this more creativity, the more motivation within the team. People are coming with ideas because we're like, yeah, I love that idea. Let's put it on. We'll work out the finite bits afterwards. And interestingly, it's lowered their stress levels. And so from a blood pressure point of view, everything is going down. So, when we take a look at what that means to our market, is that we are actually launching more products into more markets because we have more prototypes than we used to before. So our bottom line is up. So simple things.
Good example of competitive advantage.
Yeah.
We should talk about your book.
Yeah.
Launched late last year, Land of the Rising Lifespan.
Yes.
So what was the motivation for writing the book?
Oh, that's a really good question. Do you know what? This book just kind of came to me. So many people say, wow, Barbara, you've been in business, you take great care of yourself, you always have so much vitality and energy. What do you do? And okay, yes, I lead a really healthy lifestyle, but actually, because I lived in Japan for 10 years, many moons ago, I implemented a lot of these strategies and implement them to business now. When I take care of my team, I'm always looking at those ways of implementing them with everyone in a really simple, mindful, easy way. And then someone just said to me, gosh, put it all down in a book. Yeah, just write a book, Barbara, and I'll follow.
I've got enough to do, put it in a book.
Yeah, follow a book. Well, it's the same kind of thing, right? Ask a busy person to do something and it's definitely going to get done. And so I started writing the book, and do you know what? It was just so easy, and it just kind of tuned in, and every time I started writing a different chapter, there's 25 chapters, I felt a different person or a different team member that can really resonate with this and kind of take it and go. And it's just kind of blossomed from there. I love it.
So what are some of the Japanese rituals to longevity then that you talk about in the book? And it's a holistic approach to life, I assume.
Oh, most definitely. I think what's really great is a really simple swaps. When we take a look at the sort of ancient philosophy of Japanese rituals, they've been doing these kinds of things that they become automatic. So it's a little bit about when we start a healthy habit, we want it to become a non-negotiable, like brushing your teeth. When you think about it, I mean, we've only been doing that for about 100 years, right? And so of course, the Japanese have been doing these rituals for much longer. It's a very peaceful and calm and productive country. And anyone who visits there just notices this bit of calmness. But when you take a look, they are definitely the leaders in productivity, innovation, and work-life balance. And I think that that's really good. And in a way, that's kind of what we're striving for. So when you take a look at the 25 chapters, there's some that can really reflect how they can be incorporated into business or even just simply at home. I mean, I'm a huge coffee fan, okay? And any weather, I will drink coffee. I love it. Coffee's my thing. But in Japan, yes, they drink coffee, but they also drink green tea and for all the health benefits. So in the morning, my first drink in the morning is always a green tea, and then I have a coffee. It can be simple swaps like that. That's a very general one. But then it can be something like the wabi-sabi I talked about, imperfection in our workplace needs to be accepted because we live in a world of perfectionism, right? We have social media, everyone's Botox to bits, and it's very competitive. And I think we need to get back to that competitive edge of what, your passion is at work.
Yeah.
And bringing a lot of the creativity and motivation back so people are happy in the workplace.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you think the Japanese do that we don't do then in terms of some of their rituals? You talked about green tea, you've talked about perfectionism.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that really are outstanding behaviors and habits that they have, but that perhaps we don't have in the UK or in the Western world?
Well, I think we do have them, but they do take them to another level.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you take a look at community and how they have this amazing sense of community support, and I think that's because of all the catastrophic natural disasters that they have in that country. When I lived there, I write about it in the book. I experienced the Great Hanshin earthquake, one of the most scary things I've ever been in my whole life, a Richter 9 earthquake. We lost everything in our apartment, and we actually lost 3 students within that. So we were about 50 miles from the epicenter. But our community, now bear in mind, this was very soon after I had moved there. I didn't really speak any Japanese or anything, but our community knew that we were living there. And so they almost came to our rescue because they were like, wow, we need to get in touch, make sure they are okay. They need to phone home because there was no phone lines, all of these kinds of things. That type of community spirit. Now, I'm not saying it wouldn't happen here, but to the level that we felt a part of their community and taken care of, not only do we have an office in Tokyo now, and that sense of community is incredible, and how we support each other in that workforce as well is amazing. We are connected, and they just take that connection to the next level.
They live and breathe it in everyday life.
Absolutely. I would never, I never feel let down by my team anyway, but I tell you what, I can certainly count on every single team member in my team, and in Japan, it just goes to another level.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
And they have a big thing, it's sort of the same thing as community, but they have a great thing about generational respect in Japan, don't they?
They do. Pride as well, job pride. Any job that you have, you could be a cleaner or anything, everyone is treated with great respect. They have a great respect for everybody because their elders really bring down that knowledge and pass on knowledge as well. It's fascinating. We recently, last year, in our research and development team, had a chemi. She was head of our skincare. Incredible worker, but she retired because she was 65, and she still comes back, and we pick her brain all the time. So whenever I travel to our Tokyo office, she's like, let me know when you're coming and we can go out. I'll do a product demo for you on something else. And their ideas, their way of looking at stuff is really valued, but they also are very forward in explaining things. They don't kind of back off. They really are included and inclusive. Yeah, it's a really interesting culture with that.
At Evolve, we exist to help business owners and leaders like you start, grow, and exit with purpose. Whether it's coaching, peer groups, strategic advice, leadership and development, or just needing some financial clarity, we're here to support every step of your business journey. If you're ready to evolve, we'd love to help you take that very next step. And this may be too generic a question, but is there 3 rituals that you think the Japanese do that we should adopt as a matter of course in the UK?
Oh, that's really, really good. Yeah. I would have to say slow down. is one of them. It's really interesting in a world there that seems so hustle and bustle and busy, and it is. I never see anyone rushing for a train. I never see anyone, rushing. They leave time. Everything is like perfectly timed out. And that's because everything runs on time. So I think that really does help, right? Right. So they know that if the train is going at 7:32, it's going at 7:32. And you know to leave your house at 7:15 or whatever to walk to the station. So everything just seems to work beautifully like that. And they do take their time and they're conscientious. So that would be number one, is actually slow down and be thoughtful and be mindful with every move and decision that you're making. Wow, what a diet. It has to be their diet. I mean, they have probably the best longevity diet that there is. They use seasonal food. They eat a huge variety of food. They not only have the sea greens, but their principle of eating until they're 80% full. They don't eat until they're overstuffed. So their mental clarity, their digestion, their bodies work
not
properly.
Fighting their system all the time.
Yes, that's right. Actually, I think you put it perfectly. We're not fighting a system on any front. Yeah, you're not fighting a system with your body. You're not fighting a system with a train. You're not fighting your system with each other. Everything is orderly and organized. And so it just has this chi, this beautiful flow of energy. And I think it is their thoughtfulness. They do rituals that are very mindful. So things like calligraphy. It's slow, it's thoughtful, it's a movement. Even their tea ceremony is another one as well. They're great outdoor people. They love being outdoors. And that's because a lot of their environment, their houses are very small, very, very small. And so, they sleep on their futons. So the futons go in the cupboard, and then you're using that same space maybe to eat your dinner. And then the table goes away and the futon comes out and you sleep on the futon. Apartments are very small. Real estate is very expensive because it's a archipelago, isn't it? Of mountains. You can't live on the mountains. And so the flat land is very... there. So they've learned to live in this community. Therefore, the aggression is, I'm going to say, non-existent.
So get this right. Slow down.
Yep.
Diet.
Yes.
And thoughtfulness.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think if they were to do that, I think our day would run more smoothly. And so because they're doing that, they always have this kind of positive outlook. And again, I think it comes back to the natural disaster tragedies that they have, earthquakes, tsunamis, all of those, that they really value life. It's precious to them, and they're going to make every moment count. So with their seasonal changes of amazing cherry blossoms, and everybody is out at lunchtime looking at the cherry blossoms, to the red leaves and the maple in the autumn season, to all their fleeting moments of seasonal foods. They have some foods, like special pears in the summertime, that are only around for 2 weeks. So they make the most of everything.
Do you think they're in connection with nature better than us?
Yes, I do. Even though if you go to Tokyo and it's full of
skyscrapers, bustle and it's concrete and it's
it is this concrete jungle, most definitely. But they do make the most of everything.
So diet question.
Yeah.
Mediterranean diet or Japanese diet?
Oh, interesting. Okay, so you might remember one of my first cookbooks was called Rainbow Recipes, all on the Mediterranean diet. And the Mediterranean diet
is why I asked the question.
Exactly.
I've got the book at home.
is actually one of the best diets that there are. It has the most science around it as well. The Japanese diet is brilliant, but very difficult to implement in other parts of the world because of the specialized ingredients. We can't get all the seaweeds over here that they use in the Japanese diet, but I would say they're just as healthy as one another. And I kind of flick between both of them. Now, can I just say, when we say Mediterranean diet, we are talking about, good quality fish, meat, poultry, loads of vegetables that are in season. There is that same principle in the Japanese diet as well. There is that, but of course the Japanese diet have more variety with all their sea vegetables and a few other kind of crazy things that they do eat as well.
Like?
Well, do you know what? Again, getting back to the seasonal stuff, we're coming into summer, and for some reason, one of the delicacies in summertime in Japan, besides their cold noodles, which might not sound appealing, but actually they're very, very good, is the flowers, lilies, and lilies have a big bulb, don't they, that you normally plant in the ground. And anyway, they eat the lily bulbs. Yeah, very grounding, very cooling in the summertime. So they eat very seasonal as well. So their philosophy can be like, well, you want something from the ground, something cool, something nourishing. And so, absolutely, a lily bulb is. I don't recommend everyone dig up their garden and eat their lily bulbs, but actually they are delicious.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And you've talked about some of the difficulties that, in the UK, we couldn't really follow a Japanese diet because we can't get access. What are some of the things within the Japanese diet that we can follow easily in the UK?
Oh, yeah. Food variety, number one. I do absolutely love that. Very little sugar in their diet. And in fact, the only place that they really love their sugar is in a sweet that they have to complement the bitterness of a matcha green tea. And I always think that's interesting. And it is just a tiny coin-sized sweet that they're only having maybe, whenever they do a tea ceremony, once a week, compared to here, whereas we have a lot of sugar, naturally in our diet. Obviously, they have loads of fish. It's very difficult for vegans in Japan. They love their fish. They love their fish stocks. So again, they're having sort of that natural collagen within their fish stocks. They love their fermented foods. So when you take a look at miso pastes, fermented pickles, they're having those every single day. So that gut healing, gut health foods that they're also having. Really fascinating. And seasonal foods. So everything's fresh, everything's in season. They love shopping. Because again, getting back to their smaller houses, they don't have the big refrigerators or freezers that we have, here in Europe. So, they have a tiny fridge. Some of them don't even have a freezers. I'm thinking back when I lived there, I didn't even have a freezer in the house. I was shopping fresh every single day. So everything came in. I'd go to the supermarket. It's in, it's out, it's fresh, it's seasonal, and the quality is absolutely amazing. And they love their medicinal mushrooms. So here we might take medicinal mushrooms in a supplement. There they are eating amazing nutritious foods. So on a daily basis, they're eating these foods that are nourishing the body naturally in a way that promotes well-being.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And you touched on supplements. Again, from a dietitian's point of view, I'm quite interested in this from you. Is that, you've only got to open up any social media and you're being nearly force-fed greens or mushrooms or everything, vitamins and all sorts of things, as supplements. What's your view on supplements?
I have a lot of views on supplements because it's a little bit like the Wild West out there from a supplement point of view. Even supplement marketing is unregulated as much as some supplements are. So look, at the end of the day, I'm a nutritionist. So you need to have a fantastic diet. Definitely use supplementation. I use supplementation, but it's only to fill in the gaps that your good food hasn't filled. So when we talk about what we actually need on a daily basis, of course, you have all your nutrients, your proper carbs, all these fad diets as well. My goodness, they have a place to reach a particular goal. Okay, so I'm not going to judge anybody who's on fad diets, but I love talking about longevity, fueling the body for longevity from an emotional and physical health point of view. So we do need to take care of our body's diet that way. What I often see, Warren, is people thinking they can do fad diets or go out to McDonald's, thinking that is going to fuel their body and then going back and taking supplements to fill the gaps. It doesn't work that way. The other thing about supplementation is that a lot of them aren't standardized. So you do really need to research companies and make sure that you're putting the very best in your body. And don't believe all the marketing messages. You really have to choose companies very, very well, because the marketing claims that they do in USA creep over
but it is the Wild West, isn't it?
It is the Wild West.
Purported on the phone through social media.
Oh, I know. And we tend to get sucked in and believe these marketing messages that they're going to treat and cure, and they're not. You know, it is about really studying anything that you put into and onto your body and having that trust and asking questions. How come we're believing AI? Well, I don't mind AI, you know, but it doesn't tell the whole truth. And everyone, again, is individual. So what I take is completely different than what I give every single member of my family. Everyone's different.
Okay.
It is an individual approach.
They all have their own plan.
They all have their own plan.
Ah.
Yeah, concocted by me.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And if I was to take one thing, you know me, so if I was to take one thing away that was in this book to benefit me,
well, would it be? Okay, that's a really good question. So would it be for business or would it be for personal?
Let's do both then.
Let's do both. Okay. So there's an awful lot of things, and I am going to go on a kind of foodie one, okay?
Okay.
Because I talked about this before when we talked about amazing food and only eating until you're 80% full.
Yeah.
Now, Haru Hachibu is what it's called, and it is a tradition to just eat until you're 80% full. And I mean, look, you only need to see the Japanese public. They are very healthy, very fit. They eat a lot of food, but they eat until they're 80% full. And so they are mindful of that. But you can transfer a lot of that into your work life. And this is really what we do. Okay. And it comes to that capacity, right? Leaving capacity for being able to adapt. And then having that sort of mindset of, actually, I've always got 20% to play for. Yeah. And you're an accountant, right? I mean, you used to be our accountant. And so, you know, we have to have that buffer all the time. And I remember our buffer at NutriChef used to be 50 grand.
Okay.
I used to have 50 grand, I'm talking 2004, 50 grand in the bank as a buffer. And that used to be able to, you know, have that 80%, that 20% left to help with us. People have forgotten that.
Yeah.
You know, they really, really have. And these are lessons throughout that, you know, we stuff ourselves. We stuff our schedule. We stuff everything into life. And I think it's making us stressed and unhappy.
Well, it is, because when the unexpected happens, you've got no capacity, have you? You've got no bandwidth. You get to the point of overwhelm, don't you?
Exactly. Stop it before it arrives.
Okay. So
that would be my thing for everybody. It'd be my thing for everybody.
Okay, I love that. Okay,
yeah.
I'm going to take that one away. So was that personal and business 80%, or was there a different one for personal?
I'd say that's pretty
all-encompassing.
Close. It's all encompassing, isn't it? I think it's all encompassing. I have a really great thing that I live by myself because, hey, look, you know, I'm busy, sometimes I'm working 6 days a week myself. Yeah. You know, we are in a retail world. Our, you know, company is retail. Retail is 7 days a week. And so even tomorrow, you know, I'm working on a Saturday in our Swiss market, helping retailers on an event online. Shame I'm not flying out to Switzerland, but there we go. And so for me, I constantly have to be in the moment. And so enjoying everything, like the weather this week, making sure, not cramming it in, okay, but every moment just enjoy it. Being online, talking to people, being here, being in the moment, not thinking about other things. And in Japan, it's called Ichigo Ichie, that actually every single moment or interaction that we have may never be repeated. And if it is repeated, like our interview, it's not in the same way.
No.
Our interview, how many years ago?
6 years ago.
6 years ago is completely different.
Completely different conversation, isn't it? The world has moved on. We've moved on as people.
Absolutely. So it is about being in that moment and enjoying it and being grateful for it, I guess. Yeah.
And what's the one new health thing that perhaps, a wellness thing you personally adopted this year? Because you must be constantly doing what you do and being who you are and being inquisitive, seeing different things and experiencing different things and adopting new behaviors and insights into your own health. So what's the thing you're doing this year that perhaps you weren't last?
I'm listening to myself more. Maybe that comes as age. I'm not sure. But, there's, I mean, I'm science and research, right? So in our world of longevity, in the science world, I think a lot of the major discoveries have already been done. And so really it's about how do we take care of ourselves from an epigenetic point of view? That's what I specialize in, epigenetics. So all of the lifestyle factors that can sway your DNA to be the best that it can be. So we're constantly having that cellular regeneration to help ourselves. But a lot of that is around listening to your own body. Yeah. And I think I used to get away with handling stress or a more stressful lifestyle. Stresses have changed over the years. There is not one magic pill that can help stress or lower your cortisol levels. It's from within. It's in our mindset, it's in the foods that we eat, and it's how we tackle every day. So from a personal development point of view, I'm constantly looking at ways that I can manage my diary, manage my team, and actually I think it's getting easier, and I love AI to help me with all those types of things as well. I think it's brilliant. But I listen to the signals and I act on the signals quicker than what I used to. Don't let stuff fester.
Yeah. That's self-awareness.
Self-awareness. And that would be, maybe it comes with age, Warren, I don't know, but I think it does. I think it does come with age.
There's more reflection on life as you get older, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
And you experience different things and different things happen and all of that.
Yeah.
So we touched on sort of AI and technology. And have you got any fears from perhaps where we are going in the world in terms of technology and what's happening out there? And if we roll forward another 6 years and you're on the podcast, where we may be?
I personally don't have any fears. I do talk to a lot of people and some of my family members who fear for AI, from environmental reasons to their own job and how it's affecting. I have only positive AI feedback on how it's helped our company, our teams. And in fact, we implemented and adopted a 1 hour a week AI investigation starting every Thursday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. The whole company in every single market, 450 staff, are having an hour to investigate how AI can support their own role. We do not want to get rid of any single staff member, but one of our goals is to not work at that 120 capacity. And so it is about bringing it down. And we do know that if we embrace it within the company and embrace it ourselves, it will definitely help in every particular way. And so I have no worries. It's only ever supported everything that I want to do. And do you know what? I used it this morning. not for work, but for personal. So I have one of my daughter's birthday parties tomorrow. She is going to be 29, but she wants a Spanish-themed food extravaganza. And I was just like, do you know what? I'm just going to pop into AI, a full menu, write me a shopping list, write all the things that I need to do from drinks to absolutely everything. Boom, done. I'm going to go grocery shopping afterwards. I didn't go as far as order it online because I love grocery shopping, so I can choose everything myself. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to get it done, which is amazing. And I just think if again, we can free up some of the time that AI can support us in our everyday life, and you have a positive relationship with AI, then...
And if you use that time, to support your own wellness and your own personal growth, then that's got to be
I went for a swim in the sea. I had a choice. I can either stay and do all of that, or I can let AI do that and I go and swim in the sea while it's doing it all for me. It is around how are you spending your time and how are you not getting sucked in down that rabbit hole of the negativity around AI, and how we can embrace it. Look, it's here to stay, right?
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. And I think if we can embrace it, and if companies can embrace it, and I think the fear, especially the fear that was in our company, was, oh my goodness, I might lose my job because AI can do what I want to do. We had a policy really open. We have something called an all hands meeting, and that is a full 450 staff online meeting once a quarter. And we talk about all these kinds of things. And the C-level decided, look, this is an issue for everybody. Don't want anyone to be fearful. We are not doing any layoffs, but let's embrace it. How can it support your time? And then, we still want to reach our goal of 500 million, and how can we do that better and faster? Brilliant. And that's it. Yeah.
And what excites you about the future of the health and fitness kind of world?
Well, it's ever evolving. I mean, I think that's the really, really great thing. Even from product development, we do like launching products into market that are going to make people's lives easier. And I think health and wellness is becoming easier. Do people understand it as much? I don't think so. I think we're still, we love our treats too much, but I think some treats are becoming a little bit healthier as well. The trend that health and wellness is moving towards can be this holistic approach. There's a lot of great tech. There's a lot of fantastic apps that you can use to monitor anything simply that's already on the market, like an Oura Ring or a fasting app, all those kinds of things that will actually support you as well. But at the end of the day, your body is meant to move.
Here, isn't it? It's you. You've got to be determined to do it.
You have to be present. You have to want to do it. You have to have the motivation. You have to move your body. You have to eat well. You have to drink water. Yeah. You have to sleep well. No matter what app or product that you're taking, actually, it comes down to a little bit of common sense, and making sure that we are implementing that common sense.
And as we start to wrap up, a question about, the book's about, the rising lifespan, but there's a lot in the media at the moment, aren't there, is that we are living longer.
Yep.
But we're starting now to live a healthy life shorter.
Yes.
And what's your view on that?
Yeah, I mean, life is about enjoying it.
Yeah.
And so, there are unfortunately some people who are living longer lives, but the quality of their life isn't fulfilled or isn't that great. So if you just live life on your terms, as healthy and as happy and as compassionate and passionate as you can, it's what's the saying? It's not the days that you are living, it's the life that you put into your days. And again, making sure we have that balance is fantastic. There is no point in living until you're 90 years old if you are miserable, and unhealthy. That to me is a very sad existence. I would love people to still be really active and enjoying life, being around people that they love and contributing to society.
And you'd advocate clearly that it's never too late to start.
It's never too late to start. Do you know what? The transformation that some people can go through at any age of their life really is inspirational. And again, you only need to look at it on social media. You know, some people really do turn their lives around for whatever reason. You know, it could be an illness, it could be helping other people, it could be giving back. Whatever it is, I think we just need to look into our heart, be grateful for what we have, and live your best life that you can.
Brilliant. What a way to end the podcast.
Oh, God.
So, Barbara, if people want to find out more about you, or if they want to get a copy of the book, where can they go?
Amazon, fantastic. So there is an Audible as well. So if you loved my voice on the podcast, you can listen to like 6 hours of me reading the book. Amazon and Audible, which is great. Obviously on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, all of those places.
Barbara, it's been lovely to have you back as a guest.
It's been amazing. Thank you so much.
Hopefully we won't wait 6 years to have you back again.
Well, just think at everything that's going to change in the next 6 years. I'll be retired then. I'll talk about retirement living.
Okay, that'll be the subject then. Perfect. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Wow, what a conversation. I love every conversation I have and have had over the years with Barbara. She's such a font of knowledge on health and well-being. You know, she's written the new book. What a book that is. She's talked to us today about some of those culture aspects from Japan that we can implement into our everyday lives here in the UK, be that from a personal or business perspective. I really hope you've got at least one takeaway from that you can implement that will benefit you. And if you have, then please hit subscribe on whatever your favourite channel for podcasts is and come and listen to us for further episodes of the podcast. And if you want to learn more about Evolve and how we help businesses start, grow and exit, then please go to evolveadvisory.co.uk. Thank you for listening.